What's good, everybody? Is when I come back at you with another video. So for this video, I wanted to talk about the idea of hard work. Now, of course, you've heard it a million times, right? Society pushes this idea endlessly of working hard, that hard work is the end all be all. And I'm here to tell you that it's not, right? I do believe working hard is important, right? But I believe that it is working hard. I believe that it is only a good idea if you work hard at smart things, right? This is why I feel like when society pushes the idea of hard work, they leave out the other important component, which is that you want to make sure if you do work hard, that you want to work hard at things that are smart, because you don't want to work hard at things that don't make sense, right? Because then at that point, you're not basically doing, like, your labor is not really time effective, or is not the most intelligent type of labor. And I'll give you guys an example of someone that can make the case that they're working hard, but that it might not be the smartest thing to do, right? If we were to use an example, say for example, you have an opportunity to be able to cut grass on someone's lawn, right? Say there's person A and person B, right? Person A decides to show up to cut someone's grass on their lawn with a pair of household scissors, right? And so let's just say hypothetically, a job that would normally take 1 hour if someone had a lawnmower, it takes this person the full 8 hours to get it done. So person A is, just imagine person A is going blade by blade through the grass with a pair of household scissors, cutting it, right? They sort of have the head sideways, right? Cutting it slowly to make sure every blade of grass is perfect. And it takes them the full 8 hours to complete the job. Now, technically speaking, person A did deliver the service. They cut the grass on someone's lawn. And I'm sure they did a fantastic job because they went blade by blade. Now, person B also is cutting the grass in someone's lawn, except they're using a lawnmower. And so they're able to cut someone's grass at a much faster pace, and they're able to complete, each person or the person's lawn in 1 hour. So if we were to use a standard 8-hour workday, right? Person B is now able to cut 7 other lawns for a total of 8 lawns in 8 hours, right? And they were able to be compensated 8 times because they cut 8 lawns. Whereas person A, the first person that used the pair of household scissors to cut someone's lawn blade by blade, it took them the full 8 hours to complete 1 lawn, right? Person A could argue that they're a hard worker, that they work hard. But most would agree to cut someone's lawn with a pair of household scissors and go blade by blade would be unreasonable and unrealistic, and quite honestly time consuming, and probably not the smartest thing to do. But that is one route that could be taken, right? Person A can make the case that they're a hard worker because they took their time and they made sure everything went well. However, person B did just as good of a job with the lawnmower and was able to complete the job a lot quicker, which allowed them to take more jobs, right? To take more lawn mowing jobs from other places, other homes, and was able to complete 8 jobs, right? To mow 8 lawns within the 8 hours. So both could make the case that they're hard workers because they worked the whole 8 hours. But which of the two worked smarter, right? Obviously, everyone would agree that person B that had the lawnmower worked smarter because they were able to pass the lawnmower and complete 8 jobs. And so this person got paid 8 times the amount of money for the same amount of time as person A, right? This is what I mean. Working hard is only a good idea if you work hard at smart things, because generally the whole idea that society likes to push is to work hard. But like, if you're not working towards things that make sense, then working hard doesn't necessarily make sense, right? If I were to use another example, say we look at society as a whole, right? Because society likes to push the idea that working hard is what will get you far in life, that working hard is the end all be all that will propel you forward, knowing very well that that is not true, right? If we use another example, chances are, if you're watching this video, you've been to a hotel, you've stayed at a hotel, you've experienced being at a hotel. Who are the hardest workers at a hotel? It's easy. Answer is obvious. The hardest workers at the hotel are housekeeping, right? Because these are the people that every single day they show up and they're the ones who clean the entire hotel room. Each and every room they go in, they clean it, they'll spray it with, the disinfecting spray. They'll pass wipes everywhere. They'll change the sheets. They'll do all these things. They'll leave a room spotless, and they have to clean X amount of rooms within their 8-hour shift, right? And they have to clean at a certain pace because they need to make sure that they clean the rooms that they're being asked to do. And I know that it is hard, backbreaking labor, because I graduated with a degree in hospitality, and I basically had to do a very brief internship at my campus. They had a hotel there, right? And so I did a very brief session going with housekeeping to help clean the room, so I can see how the rooms are cleaned and to basically shadow them and to assist them. So I know that it's hard because they have to do probably at least a dozen rooms, if not more, within the allotted time. And so there's no time to waste, and they have to just keep moving and making sure they leave the rooms pretty much spotless every time. They're the hardest working people there. However, they're typically paid the least. Whereas some of the people who do less labor intensive work, say you're working the front desk at a hotel, right? Chances are whenever someone calls to book a room, you look for room availability, right? And then when you set on the room, right, you book them in the room, you accept payment, you do all these things. And being at the front desk, of course, you get sometimes questions and concerns from guests. But if it's something that you can handle on the computer or assist right away, then you'll do that. If it's something that you can't immediately assist with, then you might, take them to whoever can solve the problem, I guess, if you will. But the work that you're doing is less labor intensive, yet generally speaking, it is more normal or common for people who work at the front desk to get paid more than housekeeping, right? And of course, we know that a hotel wouldn't be able to function without housekeeping, because then after guests finish, the room has to get cleaned. Otherwise, that room shouldn't be sold to another guest, right? So obviously housekeeping is essential, but yet, and the most labor intensive work, yet they get paid the least, right? The CEO of these companies aren't doing nowhere near as labor intensive work as housekeeping, yet they get paid a lot more. Same with the executives and the C-suites, right? Leadership of these companies aren't doing remotely close to the labor intensive work, and yet they're getting paid significantly more than housekeeping, right? This is exactly what I mean, right? Hard work is not necessarily going to get you the compensation that you want, or hard work alone isn't going to get you where it is that necessarily going to get you where it is that you want to go, right? Sometimes it requires you working smart. And if you want to work hard at smart things, then that is where you found the sweet spot. That's where you found the medium of what you need to be doing, right? For example, if you want to work hard in YouTube, that makes sense. Why? Because you can put out content that is very helpful, that is very beneficial to people, that provides people with a tremendous amount of value. And the good part about it is that if it's posted on YouTube and, all goes well, the video doesn't have any copyright or anything, whatever, then it's possible that video can stay on this platform for however long this platform exists, right? Maybe YouTube will exist even past our lifetimes, right? So then if it's a very helpful, beneficial video that's posted on YouTube, this can be something that can last forever, right? So that would make sense, right? Being able to put in effort and labor to do something one time and have it be able to benefit you or provide value to other people or benefit the lives of other people forever, right? That makes a lot of sense. When I look back at my life and I look at my time going through school and, going through college. It's like I did all that work, of course, to get a grade and to learn, turn homework assignments, projects, essays, whatever. I can't go back and find the assignments that I did unless they were like saved on a computer or something, right? I can't go back and pull those assignments. So basically, those assignments were done to get submitted for a grade. Of course, I learned, but like to get a grade. And then after that, either the assignment gets thrown away or it's gone for good. I can't go back and get that work, right? So I worked hard, but it wasn't necessarily working smart because I can't go back to it and refer to it or showcase my work to other people because it's already gone. It disappeared, right? Oftentimes the work that we do, generally in the workplace right now, that's typically work that gets done, that after the work is done, it basically like disappears into the ether forever, right? It's generally not something that can stand the test of time. And so working smart is essentially working towards creating assets or working towards creating something that can last you forever, or where you put in work one time and you're able to benefit from it many, many times, right? That is you working a lot smarter, right? There's many successful people. Yeah, in this case with YouTube, right? It's, if you're a small content creator, this is the perfect video for you because then you're working smarter, right? You're doing something. You can have a video that gets posted that, someone stumbles across it 3 years later and it ends up solving their problem or helping them with their life situation. And you've only worked towards creating that one time, right? That is the whole concept and the idea of working smarter. So I don't want you to fall into the trap of believing that all it is just hard work, and if you want to get farther, you need to work harder. You only have a limited amount of energy and a limited amount of time each and every day, right? So if you can put that energy and time towards creating something or working towards something that can last a long time or that can stand the test of time, then at that point you're working a lot smarter, right? People who who earn a lot more, they don't necessarily work harder than you, and typically it might be that they actually work less than you because they put in their time and their energy to create systems in place that will allow them to continue benefiting off of something they created in the past, right? But if you are just following the business model of trading your time and your energy and your labor to be compensated, then like there's going to be a cap on that. There's a cap on how much you can actually work each and every day. Your body gets tired and exhausted and needs rest. And so if the business model right now that you follow is to trade your time for money and like that, there's nothing wrong with that, at least starting off, right? Like obviously you need to do what you got to do to make ends meet, but it's not the most effective business model for your whole life, right? Because at some point, you might experience sickness or you might have to take time off and all these things. And like, you don't want to always have to be in a position where you have to show up physically and trade in your labor to be compensated, right? That is not that's not necessarily working smarter, right? So if you can be more effective with your time and get more done and create something that can last for a long time or forever, then that's you working smarter. And if you can work hard towards that, then that's even better to help push you forward. So share this video to help open your eyes and to have you reflect on your own life. And if you're not working towards creating anything, then maybe this video will help plant the seed in your mind of how can I operate differently if I've been working hard my whole life and it feels as though I can't get ahead or I'm just stuck in the same place. What is it? How can I do things differently, right? How can I begin working smarter to then have that eventually benefit me in the long run? Because the goal is ideally to have fun, right? That's always been the goal of our life, to enjoy our lives. And if you can claim more of your time back at some point in the future, right, then that is probably going to be a benefit for you, and that'll help increase your happiness and your joy and make your life more worthwhile and worth living. So that wraps up the video. Enjoy the video. Do leave a like and subscribe as we are on the road to 1 million subscribers, guys. So once again, it's Joel, and I'm out. I'll see you guys for the next video.